we're back again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.
Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going so good. Tearing it up, cutting up glass all day, and
Ooh, exciting.
13 bee bowls sitting in the kiln ready to run, and
How fun.
yeah, and these cute little plant stakes, and just cut out a few little stained glass pieces. One that's a corner piece that says spider's web. That's really cute.
Oh,
And
that's
then a couple
I see
of
those all over.
Yeah, I have one that my mother-in-law gave me for Christmas a couple of years ago. So
Yeah,
now I get to make them. And then a couple little bottles that'll just be like a cute little window hanger, like a magic
that's
potion
awesome.
bottle. So yeah,
Yeah,
pretty fun. Good
I
stuff.
love that. How
And
fun.
gorgeous day. Wow.
Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like summer here,
I think
which
we're
is
gonna
sort
go.
of scary because
It shouldn't be.
everything's blooming, sap is up in all the trees, which means for sure
Mhm.
at some point we're going to get 6 inches of snow and it's going to freeze and break off all our trees. This is
Now
just
knock it off. Nope.
this is what happens in May. I see Mother Nature getting a little too exuberant, and I'm like, oh shit,
Please stop.
it's not June yet, so this could go wrong. My elm is fully bloomed out, and I'm like,
Is it?
oh, please don't get destroyed.
No. It's
still have
not. It's
half a
not happening.
Still have a half an apple tree on the ground from the last time that this happened, and we
I
haven't
know.
managed to get somebody over here to get it out of here. It's just, I know, I hate to be a Debbie Downer about it,
Yeah.
but we
That'll
know
be
what
enough
can
of that.
come.
Yeah.
I know. I should
I
just
hope not.
shut up right now.
I think we're gonna go asparagusing again because we've had some rain and some sun, and
Ah,
I'll bet
oh, there'll be
the
tons.
picking will be really good this time. It was really good on Saturday, surprisingly good on Saturday. I shouldn't say really good, but I'll bet it's great today.
Yeah, I bet it is. Well, good.
Partly because I think people haven't figured out yet that the asparagus is up by and large.
Does it seem a little early?
It's super early,
Yeah.
so we'll probably do better. Yeah.
There you go. Nobody knows yet. I don't know. You just put it out there on the internet, so just saying. Amy says in the chat, it was our first day in a week without rain. It's been beautiful. Oh, how nice. Oh, more rain tonight. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, welcome if you're here in the live and in the chat. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're here after the fact, we appreciate you so much as well. We're excited to be here. It's our Thursday show. Our Thursday show is always a little bit laid back. We feel like we've kind of run the marathon of the week, and then we do something a little different for our Thursday show. But I did want to share something with you. A lot of you know, I've talked about it on here many times, that I'm an energy healer, and I've, my link is on our website. Like if you need help, I'm always here. And I did a thing. I really want to build a community of people who we can work together to heal and, bring positivity into the world and good things. And so
could use it.
Yeah, right now more than ever, right? So if you're interested in something like that, I now have a Patreon where I'm offering a once a month group healing and meditation live. And there's going to be, I will be adding lots more things to that as we go along, but that's just the beginning offering. And I'm going to be offering private sessions there and other like recorded things that you can download and classes, because I love to teach. I love to teach people how to heal themselves. And I really just want to get a good group going. And so I'm going to do that on Patreon. So I'm going to post a link here. My Patreon is really, literally, it's just my name, Kristi Brower. So if you go to patreon.com, click on Kristi Brower, you will find it there. But I put a link in the chat as well.
Yeah.
And my website is linked on the True Crime Squad website.
Yeah.
And it's on my website.
Mhm.
So if you go to truecrimesquad.com, click on my website, it will take you to my Patreon. Anyway, you are all invited to come and join me. I'm really excited. I've got a lot of plans for this.
Mhm.
And I've been trying to do some of this stuff on TikTok, and it just feels too open.
Yes.
Too many people. Some wonderful, amazing people and some not so wonderful, amazing people. So I wanted to build a place that's safer. And that's why I wanted to do it on Patreon. So it's a place where we can
It's a
just
great place to do it. Yeah.
It is. We can just use music and light and peace and energy to heal together, ourselves,
Mhm.
the world, everything. So come find me over there. I'm Kristi Brower on Patreon. I put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the show notes for today's show as well. I'd love to have you over there. And I've got my first meditation, healing and meditation coming up in a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
So I'm very
Very good.
excited to share it with you all. Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, let's switch gears to something a little less love and lighty. Katie's got some WTF news for us.
Indeed. Imagine being a meth dealer, maybe maker, probably a maker, and thinking, I got to get all this meth to Australia. So how am I going to do that? How do you get that through customs? How do you get that on an airplane?
Well, we've seen some real bad attempts that didn't go well.
Well, this is a newbie, for me at least, but this happened in Los Angeles and just recently, and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol were looking at an outbound shipment of something that was labeled assorted dog shampoos.
Oh.
So they were just kind of checking that out a little bit, just make sure this really is dog shampoo. But so they opened one bottle just to double check that we know what we've got here. I must have seemed a little odd to them in the first place for whatever reason. And what they found inside the bottles was a crystallized white substance.
Oh, good Lord.
And that
you didn't even put real dog shampoo in there with the meth in a bag underneath, or come on. Why do I know these things? I don't know.
This was 17 pounds of liquid methamphetamine.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, liquid meth is so dangerous, too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Seems unsafe to be on an airplane, with anybody, but what do I know? So, yeah, not good. In the first 3 months of 2025, Border Patrol in the U.S. has seized, and Customs and Border Patrol has seized 32,000 pounds of meth. So,
32,000 pounds?
Yeah.
Oh. I knew it was a lot, but my God, that's a huge number.
It's a huge number. Yeah. So anyway, this meth, no, it didn't make it through. But per normal, people that are trying to transport drugs across the border, in or out of the country, apparently, they will do some pretty wild stuff. And it does have to make you wonder how often these very bottles of dog shampoo have made it through customs,
Oh my God, right?
But that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Kristi said they have enough meth in Australia already. Thank you very much.
Right.
This was in Los Angeles at the LA airport.
That is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Also, though, I'm so grateful that so many criminals are so damn dumb.
Right? It's not the stupid ones you have to fear. It's the smart ones because
remember the cow onesie that was soaked in cocaine and then dried?
Yes.
Recently?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one didn't make it either.
No, it did not.
They're getting more creative, but they're not really getting a lot smarter. I hope that's not true, really, because lots does get through, but wow.
Mm-hmm. Or those guys, I believe this also was linked to Australia. Australia, are you okay? That had swallowed all of those balloons.
Yes, that was
something
heroin,
like 32
though, wasn't it?
balloons of heroin between the two of them in their stomachs. Yeah. Yeah.
The risk of killing yourself with that is real high. I just I just don't think anything's worth that.
No.
Personally.
No. But, liquid meth like that is very unstable. I just think the whole thing seems like a really terrible idea.
Yes. Yes, it sure
Kristi says she
does.
does not believe they are. Yeah, it seems that way. Lots of drug stuff. Like a lot of the stories we've done about Australia recently involve drugs
Yes.
and smuggling,
Damn
actually.
it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
oh, boo on that. But anyway, so now you know, dog shampoo.
Dog shampoo. First of all, if you get any dog shampoo, I would be real careful. Make
Mhm.
sure it's real shampoo. That's
Mhm.
my worry always, is that stuff gets out to people somehow,
Right?
Somebody gets a hold of it that doesn't know what it is. Like, that's so dangerous.
Or it's like those same little douchebags that put the the super glue on the toilet seat in Walmart. Did they also put Nair in the shampoo bottles? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't
We
know.
don't know. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I saw the funniest story. Remember the dime heist
Oh yeah.
last year, where those guys stole just bags of loose dimes from a truck, and we laughed our asses off about what the hell would you even do with that? Most of those dimes have not shown back up in circulation, because how are you going to do that, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there was a wreck, a big semi wreck on the road recently, and it was a whole semi full of dimes. And they're just loose on the road, in the borrow pits, and they're out there trying. It was $800,000 worth of dimes. Can you imagine how many dimes that is?
Was
It's a
that
lot.
from the treasury? Like,
Yeah. They
oh
were
my
being
gosh.
transported, and there was a wreck, and those dimes are all over. And like, there's all these teams out there, like in the borrow pits along the sides of the freeway, trying to pick up the dimes.
Oh
Oh
my
my God.
God. That sounds like a nightmare.
It is. Why are we transporting dimes in just big old loose bags? Turns out maybe that's not a good plan.
Uh, if they were in those little cardboard tubes, I swear it would have been fine.
Right? It would have been different. Some of them would have opened up, but not all of them. They're just dimes everywhere.
Yeah, 8
Can you
million.
imagine
8 million dimes. Thanks,
8
Teresa.
million times? Can you imagine being the person that's supposed to pick those up? How the hell are you supposed to recover 8 million dimes?
Right. Do you guys know
I don't
why
know.
we're bad at math? And this is not a very funny joke considering that Teresa lives here too and she did the math, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Do you know why we're so bad at math here? It's because we went to school in Idaho where all they teach you is that one potato, two potato song.
It's true. It is true. Yes.
Well, I'm going to kick it over to you for the main case.
Yeah.
That's all I
Speaking of
got.
Idaho. So last week, Katie and I are constantly texting each other back and forth with articles and news alerts and things.
Mm-hmm.
And last week we got one that said that a man had been indicted in Teton County, Idaho, which is actually where we were both born, in a sealed indictment that had something to do with a plan to assassinate two officials. We were like, what the hell is going on? Well, the full story has finally broken.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons you're going to be very interested in this story is because it involves Judge Boyce and Lindsay Blake.
Yeah.
Of Daybell Vallow trial claim.
Mm-hmm.
Acclaim.
Esteem.
Acclaim.
Yeah.
This is really scary. So these three men right here have been indicted in a conspiracy to murder the Teton County Sheriff and a Teton County Magistrate Judge. Their names are Javier Ortiz Lara, Jose Noel Ortiz Salas, and Anthony Dean Wilson. And they were indicted by a grand jury on April 17th for 2 counts of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and conspiracy to traffic cocaine.
Okay.
So let me tell you a little bit. Let me show you. This is This is the sheriff of Teton County. His name is Clint. I can never remember his last name because it's a weird last name. Hold, please. It's right here. I have it. I know I do. Why can't I see it? Oh, Lemieux. Clint Lemieux. Okay.
Okay.
This happened sometime between the dates of July 1st, 2022 and July 1st of 2023. So this was actually a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And then they also were looking to kill the Teton County Magistrate Judge, this guy right here, Jason Walker.
Wow.
Right, Teresa, Sheriff, be cute. Yeah, he's a good looking dude there.
Yeah.
And then here's distinguished Judge Jason Walker. I don't know anything about these guys really.
Distinguished judge. Okay.
Except that we know that these three men have been indicted on a plan to murder both of them.
Yeah.
Now, Judge Boyce was supposed to be the magistrate judge on this case, and he has recused himself. We don't know why that is yet, because when these indictments were initially released, they were all sealed.
Yeah.
So we knew that this had happened, but no one knew why and what the hell and who were they going to
They
kill.
rolled out separately over the course of about 4 days.
They did, yes, yeah. Now the indictments have been released, but they are redacted. So there's still some stuff that we don't know. But let me tell you what we do know. Oh, also, Lindsay Blake is the special prosecutor in this case.
So, because she, of course, is the prosecutor of Fremont County, and she's been called in to be the special prosecutor on this case in Teton County.
In Teton County, yeah. So,
which are neighbors, but it's a great distance.
Yes, they're both very large rural counties. Okay, so the plot was to murder the sheriff and the judge between July 1st of 2022 and May 1st of 2023. We do not know the motive. And I thought, I'm going to look up all of their criminal records and that'll tell us the motive. And it does not show us the motive, which is weird. These guys don't have history, at least in their criminal records, with this sheriff and judge before these charges, except maybe for one of them. So, and that we're not sure of. So let me tell you a little bit about what we've got here. Let's see. In August of 2022, one of the men, I'm sorry. No. The indictment says that two of the men, and they don't identify who did what, traveled to the state of California to pick up a firearm. So they were went clear to California for the gun they were going to use.
Wow.
In August of 2022, one of the men allegedly called someone about putting someone to work, so one of them potentially. Between April 8th and 20th of 2023, one of the men reportedly placed phone calls instructing someone to travel to California to pick up a firearm. So weird. So, but we don't know which did which and stuff like that. But we do know that in April of that year, one of the suspects did practice shooting a firearm at a half-mile distance.
Oh.
Which seems like a really long ways. So I don't know if they were trying to do this from super far away. It says also during that same time frame, August 1st of 2022 to May of 2023, Ortiz Lara, Ortiz Salas, Wilson, and a man named Soto, who is now charged with trafficking. He's not charged with the assassination plot. Did willfully and knowingly combine and or conspire to traffic more than 400 grams of cocaine.
Okay.
So court records say in April of 2023, one or more of the men traveled to California to pick up the cocaine. Great. Thanks for bringing drugs into Idaho, you jackasses. Because we have plenty of them here, that's for sure. One of the men was allegedly... one of the men put one of the suspects in charge of distribution of the cocaine in August of 2022 and told the group to travel to California to buy drugs. Now, I think that's probably the Soto guy that was in charge of the trafficking because he's charged with trafficking and nothing else, we think. I can't even find, he doesn't have any charges listed, and we can't figure out what jail he's in. But we know that Ortiz, Salas, and Wilson are both booked into the Jefferson County Jail on $1 million bonds. So they did not put them in the Teton County Jail, obviously. Ortiz Lara is actually already serving a prison sentence in the Idaho Department of Corrections for 2 counts of possession of controlled substances and possession of a firearm by a felon. And he's scheduled to be released in July of 2028. So Ortiz Lara and Soto were definitely the trafficking people in this situation. Some of them are, one's in prison. The other one we believe is in jail being held, but we don't know.
What's his name?
Where. It's, what's his first name? I looked him up earlier and I could not find him. Edgardo Soto. And he's just not listed anywhere. It's weird.
Huh. Wow.
We don't know yet when other hearings are
I wonder
coming.
if he's in Madison.
Maybe.
Because Madison doesn't have a public registry.
Well, that could be. Because he's not showing up on jail rosters, and there's nothing on his record either.
Oh, that
Very
is weird.
strange.
Oh,
I know,
he be
it's
out of
odd.
state and maybe be being extradited.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's already being held somewhere. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
This is a really good question. Why did they go to California for a gun? I thought guns were everywhere here. They are.
They are.
We are inundated with loads of guns here, but maybe this was some kind of a ghost gun in some way that wouldn't be traced back to them or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not hard to get a gun in Idaho, that's for sure.
Well, where they were running back and forth to California, it certainly makes you wonder if they've got criminal records in California. If
it
these
does
are
make me
felons
wonder.
that could not buy guns.
Possibly. That does make me wonder as well. Here's what we know, because Anthony Dean Wilson III is actually the only defendant who's got this case actually listed in their I-court. And I think that might just be because this shit literally just happened and they just unsealed it, like, right, or a gun that can shoot straight a half a mile. Right, it may have been a special gun.
Sure,
maybe it was
perhaps
a sniper gun. I don't know.
Oh, well,
because a half a mile is a long damn ways
that is a long
to shoot.
way. Yeah.
So let me tell you, this is what is on Anthony Wilson's I-court. So it lists Lindsay Blake as the lead attorney for the state. He has John Leslie Stosich as public defender, which is the public defender in Teton County. So he's charged with 3 counts of criminal conspiracy. They're all felonies. 2 of them are conspiracy to murder these men, and 1 of them is conspiracy to traffic cocaine. He had a bond setting hearing on 5/17. Obviously, they didn't let him out. He's being held. Well, he's being held on $1 million bond, but that's pretty much the same as not getting out. Keith Walker. Keith Walker is the judge, so they had to get somebody who wasn't from the area, and obviously who wasn't, supposed to be one of the victims to be the judge.
Seems fair. Yeah.
Judge Stephen Boyce voluntarily disqualified himself from this case. So there was a motion to seal it all a few days ago. And then yesterday there was an ex parte motion to unseal in part and remain sealed in part. So it's unsealed but redacted. So there's a lot we don't know.
Yeah.
But holy shit, man.
Yeah.
How scary.
Terrifying.
And what is the motive? I mean, is the motive because Ortiz Lara is in prison for this trafficking? Were they trying to get back at them for that? I'm just trying to understand. I'm sure Judge Boyce knows the judge. I mean, we have one magistrate judge in every. We have 7 districts in Idaho, and there's one magistrate judge in every one of them. Like we don't have. It's not a lot of judges, so I'm sure that they knew each other and where their neighboring counties. Maybe they felt like that was the best plan.
Maybe it
Um,
also could be that Judge Boyce sat on one of these men's, previous stuff, or that wouldn't
Possibly.
necessarily delete. Wouldn't I'm going to try again. Wouldn't necessarily disqualify them or him, but at any rate,
Right.
yeah,
Right. It's interesting, but it was voluntary, like he said, and maybe he and this judge are friends too. That could very well be.
for sure. I thought maybe he
Um,
said, "No, I already did Daybell Vallow. No, no, no."
right. I've had enough of this shit. That could be. So we do know, um, here's what we have on Javier Ortiz Lara. So he was on probation out of state on 1/25 of 2024. And then, his probation was satisfied on 1/25 of 2024
Okay.
out of state, but it was unlawful possession by a convicted felon. So this was a gun possession charge that he'd had in another state. I'm thinking maybe California because of them being so linked to California.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Idaho now, he is in prison due to charges that came out of Teton County. So this is the only thing I think we have that might actually be this is the motive. And this is possession of controlled substance. And there's 2 charges for it. And he is in prison for those 2 cases until July of 2028. And that's literally all that we can find that this judge and sheriff may have had direct involvement with in this group of people.
Right. Wow.
So is that why they were going to kill them? I don't know. It's very strange. And why also? So they're charged with a plan that lasted for a year that ended in 2023. So for a year, they were going to kill this sheriff and judge, and then they decided not to kill this sheriff and judge.
Right.
Like, it's 2025. So what happened? Did he go to prison and then they're like, oh shit, we better chill our plan here because they might be onto us? I am so confused by this
Or
whole
these
thing.
communications from prison that got intercepted
Right?
that tipped
Are
off
they?
the authorities?
Or
Like,
it's pretty clear that they've got communications. They've got electronic communications from all these guys because they know when somebody went to California to get a gun and when they went to get the drugs and all that stuff. But it does seem extreme, doesn't it?
oh yeah.
Like, are there other reasons why target this particular sheriff and judge? Particularly because, if you kill a sheriff and judge, they just get new ones.
Mm-hmm.
These judges are either, the sheriff is elected, the judge is appointed, I think. And, I mean, no, they're both elected, aren't they? Magistrate judges in Idaho, are they elected?
I don't know.
Some of our judges are and some are appointed. I can't remember.
Right.
But it does seem very extreme, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to keep following this.
Oh, I am
for
dying to see more evidence in
definites.
this. Yeah.
I am too. I want to see the arrest warrants. Like,
Yeah.
what did they find to kick
Wasn't
this
this a
entire
grand jury
thing
indictment?
off? It was.
So there is no arrest warrant.
Well, I guess that's true. So there's a lot that we don't know, but this may be common where you live. It is not where we live at all. I can't
not
even
at
tell
all.
you the last time that I saw someone arrested for planning to kill a sheriff or a judge or something.
Yeah.
They also appear to have a lot of evidence against these men.
Yeah.
So
They must.
crazy, scary. Teton County butts right up against Wyoming. It's the opposite side of the mountain from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's a very small population up there. It's just wild. This is wild.
It is wild. Well, I can't wait to see Queen Blake in action yet again.
I know. Smartest thing they could have done, bring in Lindsay. She'll kick some ass and take some names, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah,
But I
she'll do
am
an
just so
excellent job
curious
with this,
about
but wow.
Good
Good
motive.
question. Was it actually murder for hire? They weren't charged that way.
They weren't. It was like they were a group conspiring, like one of them was going to commit the murder. The murders. But yeah, and why go to California for the gun? What kind of gun was it? There's so many questions.
Of everything
Hopefully
we've
over
talked about
time.
today, sniper rifle sounds probably the most accurate to me.
See, that's what I was like, wait a minute.
Some kind of a gun that
What
shoots
kind of a
that
gun can
far.
shoot a half a mile away? And where were they going to be? I'm thinking about Driggs, Idaho,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
where these guys work.
Mm-hmm.
It is a teeny tiny little town.
Tiny. Yeah.
Where would they be half a mile away from the courthouse, the sheriff's department, which is right by the courthouse,
Or their homes.
or their homes, maybe? Right. That they would be able to fire on them from that far away. Because we're
It is
not talking
so
about
scary for these
I
men,
mean,
for their families. My
probably the
God.
bank in town is the tallest building. Like, and it's like 2 stories. Like, this is not a big place. Where
No,
would you even be? I'm not sure. I'm fascinated to learn what the hell this
I
was
don't know. If we do
and
learn,
how they got
we
it.
will
Like, how
take
did they
a
get this info?
right. If or when we do learn, we'll take a field trip to Driggs and give you guys
We
some
will.
footage of what this town looks
Yeah.
like, as well as well, if you look on the postcard, our thumbnail for the show, that is the Teton mountain peaks, the mountain range
Hmm.
from the Teton Valley side, from the Driggs side,
Hmm.
uh, which is exactly the backdrop of Driggs. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. And
But the
it is
town
where we
itself
were
is
born.
very, very small. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's really terrifying. And all of this is so strange.
But I mean,
It's just,
sheriffs and judges, I mean, they put people in jail all the time that don't retaliate with murder plots, even though some people I'm sure would kind of like to. Uh,
yeah,
but this is extreme. What
it
in the
is.
world? Why were,
And why that time
why?
frame? What was
Yeah.
going on then that they were planning this?
Right.
Maybe this was planned because their buddy was in prison for the trafficking that they were. I just don't know.
Or is this in defense of someone else completely different that
That
isn't
we don't know about
any
yet.
of them? Yeah.
Could be. Well, we're going to keep you
Ooh.
posted because we were rather stunned when this came out.
Yeah.
We were very happy to see the info came out today, at least giving us the very bare bones minimum.
Yeah.
What a wild story. So with that, Katie, you've got some creepy crime for us.
Yes. We're talking about this guy, Nigel Thomas. But before we
Okay.
get to that, everybody that's arrested and committed, accused of a crime almost always denies it. And,
Right.
almost always says, there's no way I could have done this. And a lot of times people say, I must have been set up, I must have been framed. And sometimes you're like, bitch, there was a video of you doing it. I mean, sometimes it's very obvious.
Right. Yeah.
But in the case of Sean Bailey, not so much. On April 14th, a woman named Willia Robertson was murdered in Indiana. She
Okay.
was stabbed to death in her home in Hanover, Indiana. And when they dug into her socials, they discovered that there was a man named Sean Bailey that was threatening her and sending her very threatening messages from multiple different social media platforms and accounts. And so they're like, okay, I guess Sean Bailey killed Wilma. So they arrested him. And Sean's like, I had nothing to do with this. I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely did not do this. I would not do this. And of course, they're like, sure, man. Sure, Jan, I'm just sure that's true, right? Yeah. Well, he sat in jail while they, worked on their investigation, and they did run the DNA that was at the crime scene. And what they discovered was Sean Bailey was definitely not at the crime scene. But a guy named Nigel Thomas was, a guy
Oh
from
boy.
Ohio.
Uh-oh.
And so they arrested Nigel Thomas.
I'm so glad you cleared up these names because I'm like, you start saying Sean Bailey and I'm like, I thought you said Nigel Thomas. Have I just lost my mind? What am I?
No, they're both present
It all
here.
becomes clear.
Mm-hmm. So they arrest Nigel Thomas and they dig into his electronics. And what do they discover? Oh, that he's created a whole bunch of social media accounts in the name of Sean Bailey. And that those accounts were sending a bunch of threatening messages to poor Wilma.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And like, was he impersonating that specific Sean Bailey, that guy?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. So the police say they do believe that he is the one who killed Wilma Robertson, and he staged an elaborate plan to try to frame Sean Bailey.
Why?
We don't know. That's one thing that is not been made clear yet from the articles that I read is what the motive was on either side of this.
Yeah, like
But
why that guy
why that
specifically?
guy? Yeah, not sure. I mean, I have to assume he knew both of them, that this wasn't random.
You
But
would think, like, you don't just like pick some random guy off Facebook and like, oh, that's the guy.
right, yeah.
Wow.
So luckily, Sean Bailey has been set free and the charges are dropped, though I'm sure this has created a fair amount of upheaval and things in his life. And I'm going to assume that he knew Wilma and is probably grieving that as well. So, Sean, I'm so sorry this happened to you. You didn't deserve this at all. And
No,
Nigel,
how weird.
down the road to you. Yeah.
Right? You jackass? What are you thinking?
Well, he thought he was being smart, obviously, but the electronic evidence tells all. And you guys thinking that you can
Right.
get away with these electronic crimes? I'm
With
sure it
location data on
happens,
our
but
phones, I mean, they can
mhm.
find out where you are anytime, any place.
Mhm.
So if you were there and you did it, Chad Daybell,
Mhm.
they will know.
Yeah.
If you're not
Yeah.
Sean Bailey, they will know.
Yes. Uh yes, Kristi, that was my thought too. She said, "Thank God they checked and didn't just convict the other guy," right? Because that's what's happened so many times. I mean, how many men, particularly black men, have we seen in the US in the last 5 years or so get exonerated for crimes that they were convicted of that they didn't commit based on some
Yeah.
evidence such as that.
Right.
And now DNA is saying, wait a second, this guy wasn't even at the crime scene, but
Right.
this guy was. I agree. I'm so glad they did their due diligence and that this only,
Yeah.
created upheaval in this gentleman's life for, a short time versus putting him in prison for 20 years or some terrible thing,
Sure.
because that's what used to happen. And I'm sure it still does, but they did
It
their due
still does,
diligence and it
for sure.
exonerated him. Yeah.
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 Scary. God, that's terrifying to think that somebody'd decide they don't like you, and so they're gonna impersonate you online and then commit a crime
And frame you for
and
murder.
point the cops to you. That is so scary.
Yeah. And poor Wilma.
Yeah, the loser in this situation is mostly
By
Wilma.
and large is
That's so
Wilma,
sad.
yeah. And her family. How terrifying and sad. Yeah,
What a crazy story.
right? So we'll
I
keep an
mean,
eye on it. I would love to know. I want to know more. I want to understand how these people all knew each other and what the
yeah,
motive
what
would have
is the
been.
connection?
I'm guessing there's some love triangle kind of.
Seems like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know that for sure. That's just a guess on my part, but
At least there was no sword in this story.
true. Yeah, it could have been,
You just
but
never know.
apparently not. Not after that Patreon. Now I just really never know. But
You got to check out the Patreon. You got to go watch the sword episode
mhm.
because there's some weird shit going on. Weird
Mhm.
shit going on. Well,
Right, Steph, he had to have
um,
been planning it for a long time, at least for a while, right?
right, to have
Yeah.
enough stuff for the cops to be pointed at that guy and stealing all kinds of this guy's stuff on social media. That's the other scary thing about social media is people can just take your likeness. They can learn about like where you live and things like that to create fake accounts. That is
Mhm.
scary.
It is scary. Yeah. And yeah, I think the thought of people being on social media impersonating you is terrifying.
It is. And we've all seen it happen, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
especially Facebook has been horrible for it.
Oh,
Somebody will,
somebody cloned my business Facebook account recently and
oh
was
no.
messaging my friends offering them free readings.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, people were like, yeah, this doesn't sound like you, and it's not something that you do. So a lot of people sent it to me and they're like, this is not you, right? No, it's not me. So a bunch of my friends had reported to Facebook that this was a fraudulent account, including me. And guess what Facebook said? Nah, we don't think it is.
Eh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no reason for us to think this is a fraudulent account. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Thanks,
Cool,
Facebook,
cool.
for doing your due diligence.
Since the business account of mine with my name on it and my thumbnail and everything that they're using right now has been in existence for like 15 years ish.
Yeah.
Has Facebook been around for 15 years? Something like
Mm-hmm.
that, you know. And this
Scary.
person's brand new and they're doing, yeah, okay, tell me that. Mm-hmm.
Scary.
Right. Oh,
That is
right.
just
This one
wild.
too, calling the SWAT team in on people. That is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. That is really scary.
Mm-hmm.
As trigger happy as our police have become.
Yeah. Yep. GSI or GSA8 brought or GSI. I don't know how to say your name. Brought up a case that I was thinking about the other day. She was wondering about the lady that killed her kids with exercise bands and then jumped out the window. That she was a postpartum depression mom. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
She
You
sent
do.
dad to the store to get pick up dinner and killed the kids while he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I don't know
We'll
what's
have to
going on
look it
with
up.
her
I'm not
case.
sure where they're at on
Last
that
I knew,
either.
she was still hospitalized and they were
Yeah.
working on that, but that's been quite a while. But I was also wondering about the case of that mom who tried to kill all of her kids but didn't get one of them. She only injured one of them and didn't know it and took off for England. She thought that she was being catfished. She thought that she was in a relationship with some celebrity that she went,
Mm-hmm.
was trying to get near his home and was arrested. Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened with her either.
No, she was from Colorado too. Yeah, I'll try and find both of those cases and get updates for them
Yeah. Good idea. Well,
if there is one. Yeah.
you know, there's real pros and cons to social media. There's also real pros and cons to the location information on our phones. And I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
saved Sean Bailey, I would imagine,
Yeah.
because if his phone said he was somewhere else, that
Mm-hmm.
was good evidence that he was, and they could probably back it up with witnesses and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. That is one thing that, at least so far, you can't fake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lindsay Clancy
Oh, thank you,
is the mother
Denise. Yeah.
in Massachusetts.
I'll look for that one, see if we can get a good update on it. And that mom in Colorado, I was wondering about her just recently. Where she's
Yeah.
at in her process here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about her in a long time.
I also was looking at the Colorado dentist, Craig.
Daniel Craig?
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
Or
Because
no,
he's supposed
Craig, it's not Daniel. Craig James. Daniel Craig is an actor. Craig James.
he's supposed to be going to trial pretty soon.
It's a guy with two
so
first names.
yes, I was wondering. This is the dentist that poisoned his wife with the protein shake.
Yes.
And he's set to go to trial, I think, in the fall. Of course, it's been moved a couple of times, but I've been keeping an eye on that one. I'm wondering what's going on with him, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps getting postponed, but I want to see what happens there.
Yeah.
For sure. We got a lot of them.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, it's Thursday. Go check out
Go
our new
play.
Patreons.
Yes.
Also, check out my new Patreon. I'll put a link in the
Mhm.
chat again. It's just my name, Kristi Brower. Check that out as well. I've got a healing, a group healing and meditation coming up in 2 weeks. You're all invited to come join me over there. It's only $1 to join because I just want to start getting a group going over there. And then I'm going to offer a lot of other things for people as well. I'm just excited about it. So
Very good.
check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks for hanging out with us all week this week. We've had a lot of wild stuff going on. We're going to have more next week.
Mhm.
I'm sure, very soon have hearings coming up for Lori Vallow in the Brandon Boudreaux trial. So we're
Mhm.
going to be covering all of that and getting ready to cover the other trial, Lori's other trial. It will
Okay.
be crazy.
Perfect, Denise.
So-
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stick with us. We will be back on Monday at 6 p.m. Mountain at our usual time. And you know what? We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
Season 6, we're back again. again. Kristi and Katie, your crime time friends. Stories, justice, laughs collide. True Crime Squad, come join the ride. Grab the clues, let's take a stand. For victims' voices, hand in hand. True Crime Squad, it's time to shine. Season 6, your turn, your time. True Crime Squad, where justice meets hilarity.